Welcome, welcome. My name is Cal Burlock. I am the founder and CEO of Driven Systems, and we have created a new system in the last 6 months or so. This system is called the Black Progress Report Card app, and I'm just going to start to go over it and make sure that you understand what this involves so that you can understand why you want to be a part of this and the kind of change that this is going to usher for Black progress starting even in 2023. The app is designed to help the casual participant in politics and self-government impact Black progress by sending the right representatives to sit in positions of power and usage of our money. Grades are made in the app, and you can see them right on your phone. Grades are made in the app for all candidates, for all officials, and for all for large corporations that we generally buy from. So you'll be able to very quickly look into the app, look up a corporation, and see how are they on Black progress. Do they contribute? Have they, in some form or fashion, stood in the way of Black progress? Have they denied Black progress? How do they work with their employees, their Black employees? Do they make investments into Black progress, into the Black community? Those kinds of things. The app currently is in a prototype status, means it's not done. I've built it as far as I'm going to take it right now, and here in another 2 months or so, we hope to have a team rebuilding the app, so they'll be ready by the end of the summer to really have an impact in the 2024 election. As we know, I think the first Republican debate is sometime in August. The Iowa caucuses open up on February 5th of 2024, and by that time, we want for the country to know about us and for the impact to be in full swing. So I just want to give you a bit of a picture of the app. I'm going to go off camera as far as I am concerned, but you will now see the actual app and some of the screenshots from it. One of the things I want to do is read to you the 10 issues. So these are like grades, like if you remember, mathematics and social studies and science, those are your classes. Well, for the Black Progress Report Card app, the classes are economic development, right? What kind of grade should we give a local official on economic development in terms of Black progress? Is there investment in land ownership and business investment, right? The number 2 grade or graded area is voting rights. Where are they on Citizens United? Are they trying to overturn this case that has really disrupted voting? Are they supporting legislators who are trying to usurp the power from elected self-government, which is us, and take power into the Republican state legislatures, right? What are they doing in regard of supporting voting? Are they reaching out to younger voters? Are they making it easier to vote, or are they making it harder to vote, right? Simple things that we know in the public space that allows us to look at a candidate and say, yes, they've done well on this, or they know they haven't. Number 3 is law enforcement reform. Do they support the kinds of reforms, the kinds of accountability? Are they for getting rid of qualified immunity? Are they for demilitarizing certain departments? Are they for creating a non-lethal force that actually handles the administrative part of what the police handle? How are you going to have a killing force that handles so much of the administrative state that we have to deal with? Driver's licenses, driving itself, equipment on cars, child custody, and all the zillions of things that involve a police force, and they always show up with a gun ready to shoot. Don't you think there should be some kind of law enforcement force that doesn't have lethal kill ability, that handles these kinds of administrative things like traffic stops and such? I'm not saying guns should not be held by policemen, but they should be trained, and they should not be allied with administrative functions. Just number 3. Number 4, healthcare parity. There we talk about maternal mortality. We talk about maternal health in general, personalized medication. How is personalized medicine being used to aid and support Black progress? Are they getting enough Black people to participate in clinical trials so that the information we derive from those trials actually matches very well with the population? Number 5 improving education. This is a constant, right? These were all picked to be things that are above argument, right? Every single person who's concerned about black progress, black or not, you will agree with these 10 things that our politicians, officials, and corporations will now be graded on within the Black Progress Report Card. Improving education, of course, that is number 5. Number 6, environmental justice. We know that this is an issue. Look at what's going on in Flint, what's going on in Jackson, Mississippi. We know that the west side of the city sits higher in elevation than the other side of the city, and that they have been kind of the heart of the problems within Jackson, and that's mostly where blacks live, on the west side of the city. They've lost pressure pump, and when you lose pressure and pump, you have more impurities that you have to deal with, and become a part of the system. So we know from watching these two crises that there's an environmental justice problem. We know here in Atlanta, they are rushing right now, digging up dirt. They built black communities on top of old factories where they're having to dig up dirt that is filled with lead and asbestos and all kinds of horrible chemicals. Today they announced we just got, like, I think $120 million to the state to pull up some 46,000 lead lines. And I bet you those lead lines are in our community if they were to map them out and show them. So environmental justice, how is the official or corporation aiding and supporting black progress, communities that are mired in chemicals and in impactful waste? Number 7, crime and community safety. All right, what we're talking about here is sensible gun control. Criminal carry is what I call what they've done here in Georgia, where there's no permit needed. They have talked about guns and served the gun lobby so well, the Republicans have, that now you've got senators and representatives taking pictures with AR-15, styling them to their liking, and pushing gun culture everywhere you look. So now we are used to hear of 1 or 2, 3 gun crimes a week. Every night there are 5, 6 to 10 gun crimes every single night, and every single crime now involves a gun. It was not like that even just a year ago. So crime and community safety, what's being done in that regard? Reparative justice, another way of saying reparations, right? First of all, one of the first steps, as you see as we're going through this in the efforts around the country, is that there's a truth and reconciliation process. The country has not yet told the truth about reparations, about history of America. They haven't. America's original sin. And you see, like in Florida, Ron DeSantis is even trying to roll it back before that, like, you know, beyond that, where you're now ignoring it, trying to remove it all. And that's horrible, to be hundreds of years into being a country and can't even confront the reality of how the country was formed, how it derived its wealth, who was involved in that, who actually owns that, who the country owes. I see it like this. If you're a CEO and let's say I'm going for a job, they're hiring a CEO, and I come to them and say, I will only deal in assets. I don't deal in any debts. Only deal with one half of the balance sheet. In fact, I will not attend a meeting. I will not employ anyone or oversee anyone who's dealing with the company's debts. You would walk that guy right out. As soon as you said that, you would say, no, sir, you cannot have this job, because the CEO knows he's got to deal with the assets and the debts of a company. And so we are today in 2023, we've received our country, and we are all mini CEOs of our country. And so we have to deal with the debts, and we have to deal with the assets. To not deal with the debts does not make them go away. It simply sends more collections to your house, and we're here for the collections. We mean that. This is an issue that is extremely important on the list. It's number 8. Number 9, media reform. I don't see enough people addressing this at all. Media reform. Roland Martin talks about it in a very powerful way, that the billions of dollars that fly over our heads in terms of media does not reach black people, does not reach black media. Like 1% of the media spend of these large companies actually goes to black media. And you cannot be healthy as a community if you cannot tell your own story. There are those of us who've been invested in black progress for 30 years or more, but it's very hard to get truth through the airwaves. And social media has made it even harder, even though it's a blessing and a curse, right? The blessing part, you can get information out, hopefully, if someone hears it, if you pay for ads to go. But there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of young folks, old folks who don't know what they're talking about. They're just passing something from the water cooler. It's grievance politics shared at the social media level. And so you end up with mass confusion and mass inaction. Inaction because people think by typing something on a social post that they've actually done their due diligence. They walk away feeling like, yes, I have served my people by blessing that brother out about something that I know that he doesn't know. And both of them are wrong. And people who are actually knowers, experts, look at this and just, we shake our head, literally, because it makes you weaker. It does not make you stronger being an armchair revolutionary. So, media reform. Also on media reform, ads. You know, during political season, I don't care what persuasion, I don't care if you participate or not, you must dislike the amount of ads that you're getting. And you must wonder, how is it like this? That every time I open the mailbox, there's a stack of ads, of long, colorful ads with money spent. I'll tell you why. The airwaves are filled with ads, lying, and so forth. It used to be that the two parties controlled all elections, right? So the election spend was doled out by the party, and it was very limited. You didn't allow dark groups to come in with unlimited amount of money. They don't have to say who they are. They can set up any kind of PAC, which they call a social justice organization, like they're a nonprofit, and they're able to collect any amount of money, untold amounts of money from people who don't even have to declare. It used to be that you had to declare who you are when you're giving to a candidate, and it was limited at like 5,000, something like that. Well, 2010, the Citizens United case changed that, and the very next year it went from people giving 5,000. It went from 5 million total to $300 million spent in the 2010-2011 time frame for the election. Guess what was just spent? $10 billion. That's, each of those billions are 1,000 millions. 1,000 millions were spent in this recent election, more than that, in fact, to run ads for you and I to be completely inundated all the time with this garbage and foolishness. And that's because of the Citizens United case. So, media reform. That, black media investment and support. Lastly, constitutional reforms. Where in the Constitution do we need to construct language that gives black people some perpetual protection as we live? Because what happens is, and what we're seeing, even though the Civil Rights period was fought and we gained Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act, Fair Housing Act, that after that, it's been a 60-year history of them trying to walk back the advances that were fought for, bled and died for in the 1960s. So how can we get something on the main document, the Constitution, that is evergreen, that speaks to the fact that this 13.5% of the population is constantly sought after for discrimination and for marginalization? Since we know this, since before the Constitution was actually written, since we have that much clarity and that much historical record, can we not create an amendment that speaks to black progress, that actually speaks to the protection of black people, so that the federal government is fully on our side and fully invested, and that we're not just taking any chances? So absolutely, number 10 is constitutional amendments. Those are the 10 issues that they're graded on: economic development, voting rights, law enforcement reform, healthcare parity, improving education, environmental justice, crime, community safety, reparative justice, media reform, and constitutional reforms. Now, I wrote here a list of the problems that are addressed by the Black Progress Report Card Act. And I'm just going to read them real quickly. History and legacy of state-supported discrimination and marginalization of the black community. We are not at the table. We are on the menu in every community around this country. Low and inconsistent voter participation, voter apathy, voter suppression. Those are our realities. Lack of unity around a consistent and comprehensive platform for black progress. Everybody arguing about their little piece of the elephant. Nobody is giving you the total elephant and the full fight, the full frontal fight. It's always this issue or this issue or this issue or this issue. And those who are enemies to black progress sit back and just kind of play the groups against each other. So that's got to be fixed. Lack of civics education and or belief in citizenship. Hard to find candidate info, beliefs, or evidence to trust them. That is next to impossible. You know the two people on the top of the ballot, and you don't know anything else about the rest of them. So you're just in there pressing buttons. That's going to end with the Black Progress Report Card. No way to evaluate the corporations we spend money with to know if they're allies to black progress. There's no way to check. You're spending money every day. Trillions of dollars black folks own and control this country. And the majority of that we give right away to the very same folks who are aiding and abetting your demise. Literally. The same companies that are pushing and supporting Fox News and pushing and supporting, bad economic policies that affect black business and that affect black communities. The same companies who are, not thinking about you and making sure that the financial structures they create do not include you. Why do we give them money? With this app, we'll be able to stop doing that. You'll be able to type in Target, Walmart, P&G. I mean, any company and we're going to focus on the largest companies where the spend is, and you're going to be able to look very quickly on these 10 different issues where this company stand. All right, social media debates, infighting, depression are replacing real life action, advocacy, and civic engagement. I can't tell you the amount of rooms I've sat in listening to single mothers who are afraid to send their 17, 18, 19-year-old kids out into the world. I'd rather he stay home and play, whatever the game is upstairs, play Fortnite. Because if he goes out there, either a kid who looks like him may hurt him, kill him, because of the guns in the street, or a law enforcement official, police might do it, right? So, and the powerlessness that you evidence in those rooms, that's a problem. We can fix that. So, we need real action. We need a vehicle to execute change. You just can't be angst. You got to have angst into action. Angst into action. All right. Egotistical, individualistic approaches to the team sports of economic and social political uplift. Those two things are team sports, social political uplift and economic. These are team sports. Got to play them like a team. Lack of accountability from corporations and candidates to black progress. Of course, we know this. Take too much time to do candidate and corporate research as an individual. If I'm an individual voter and I don't know the issues, I'm a 25-year-old. I'm just coming into being an adult. My life is filled with my relationship, my work, my school, and my parents, and my new identity as an adult. I'm figuring all that out. No one knows who this old dusty bucket politician is. No one knows what he's doing. No one knows what he's about. So we need an easy way, an app on your phone is the easy way to look real quick, and you can even take it into the voting booth and actually use it as a guide there. During the civil rights era, black communities were segregated and therefore easier to mobilize. I'm not saying segregation was right. I'm saying that you used to be able to go to the edge of a certain part of town and say, hey, y'all, and then the answer would be, yo, what's up? And you were talking to, in just a couple communities, most of the black people in the city. You can't do that today, right? Because we are widely dispersed, as we should be. We want to live where we want to live. But how do you then recreate that kind of community? So that's one of the struggles. Today we are dispersed, differentiated by zip code, income, and on so many things. We face collective threats. So we face collective threats. Black skin is what is threatened. That's what they come after. But we're all very different. We're not all the same at all. We're extremely diverse. Though we may share the same skin color. So the fact that we are so diversely placed, it's hard to get collective action, even though we face collective threats. Okay, so the opportunities created by the Black Progress Report Card app. 1, civic engagement. Obviously, these things will be opposite to what I've read before. Civic engagement is made easier when candidate and official research is accessible on your mobile phone as far as your pocket. Civics education and cultivation of self-government is woven throughout the app experience. So we're teaching civics while we're empowering your ability to self-govern. We're teaching civics so that you understand how the system works. Just think very simply. Everything you do in life is a process and a system. Even the things that happen bad, even the systems and the processes that work against you, they're still systems and processes. So it would behoove you to understand how that system and that process works so that you can then influence it. So you can know where to turn the screw and where to hammer the nail. Without that, see what's been happening prior, we were not even allowed to engage, and we were held at that by violent means. Now that the violence is not so much there, how dare you not show up and capitalize on all the power that you actually have, being in America, being in a democratic republic, being a free speaking individual. I have these things behind me, the 5 V's. What law? Like, you can vote, right? They may make it hard, but you can vote now. You have a voice. You've always had it, but now you can really project your voice, right? We have voice through social media, voice on this video, voice on YouTube. You got voice to each other. Vision. Can't take our vision. We've always had vision. We fought with vision. Our values, super important. We care about our kids. We care about our future. We care about our community. These are our values. And our investments, the 5 V's. These are the 5 V's of power, the 5 vehicles for victory, right? There's no law against those things. The 10 Black Progress Goals form a consistent and comprehensive platform for Black progress that exists above the debates and frayed analyses popular on social media. There we go again. Just a lot of debates, a lot of frayed analyses, people walking away thinking like, yeah, I really set that buzzard. I really told him what he needed to hear. Like, it is so fruitless. Like, you gotta know that, guys. Look at what's going on. I'm a Moor. I'm a original American, Native American. I'm black. I'm this. I'm an immigrant. I'm a Pan-Africanist. You are all threatened by the same kinds of forces. And we're not the same. That's fine. But, all of the fiction, kill that noise, man. Kill it. It's not even about that. Be who you are. But if you agree with these 10 things that we have that we're grading people on, then you're part of us. We're not trying to separate from anybody. I really struggle with trying to create a new thing. I didn't really want a new organization. Like, I work with everybody. Everybody who's for Black progress, this is a tool. That's what we are. We have tools, vehicles to put into any organization. I don't care what persuasion you are. You all care about those 10 things that I just named, and you all can leverage this tool to benefit those 10 things. So this is not coming for your creed, your sexuality, your religion, your country of origin. I'm not getting involved in that. I am a black man from Chicago in America, and for hundreds of years my people have been here in these Americas, and so I'm fighting for what is already mine. I'm fighting for the proper administering of what is already mine, and I'm fighting because you're given 70, 80, 90 years, Lord willing, in this place. I'm going to fight while I'm able to, before I can't not anymore, and I'm going to try to leave a better world than for my kids and grandkids than what exists today. And I'm going to try to leave tools and clues and vehicles, right, that they can go, oh, I do have some keys to that power. I do have a car to make sure that my rights and my concerns are not being overrun. All right. Here's something very important. Corporations and candidates will try to score the best grade possible on our report card to attract black voters and black dollars. Imagine, once the Black Progress report card gets out and is utilized, and we start to publish our grades in the media, they are going to say, uh-oh, they see us. We can't hide anymore. We got to do better on this report card, because this report card is making black people go, nope, I'm not spending dollars with you, and I'm not also spending my votes with you. You understand? It's an accountability structure, right? Just like grades are when you're in school. You don't want the report card to go home to mom, because mom going to get at that behind for how you have not been productive. That's what's going on here. You have not been productive. You got straight D's and F's on your report card, and black people know it, and we're reacting to it. So you got to empower yourself. These are easy ways to make sure that you're not being hoodwinked. You understand? All right, easy way to check if you should spend dollars with a corporation. This is something to be used daily. Before you go break your hard-earned money, know who you're spending with. Make them be accountable. Yeah, I'm not walking into this store anymore just because you got that over there. I can get what I want elsewhere that actually has a better grade on this report card. I don't have to spend my money with you. In fact, you'll be able to, with a couple buttons, press a button and send a letter off to that corporation and say, I just found out that you scored X grade on the Black Progress report card, and I cannot in good faith spend any more money with you. In fact, I'm telling all my friends, they're all going to receive this letter, and I expect that you will clean up your act or something of the sort. All right. Easy app that presses and teaches real life action, advocacy, and civic engagement using the 5 E's of power that I just went over. Promotes the team sports of economic and social political uplift. Yes, economic uplift is a team sport. Make no mistake. I mean, this idea about the one-man soldier out here sustaining all the arrows that the devil throws and all these systems and institutions that people are fighting with you is a farce. Economic development is a team sport. It takes a core of people. Everybody will tell you that. Social political uplift, the same thing. A core of people had to decide, man, we understand the process. We got to get black people to vote. So I'm going to walk out into the fields in Lowndes County, Alabama, and I'm going to talk to folks who can't read and write, who are struggling just to get the crop up, so believing that they're going to get a little bit more ahead than they were last year, even though the person who owns the land has loaned him tools, seed, food, animals, and so when he goes to true up, he's going to break even and not be able to get out of that situation anyway. So he knows for the rest of his life, until he drops dead, he's going to be working for that land and for that man. All right? Someone had to go into that and say, look, we can teach y'all to read. If you got a little courage, I got the system. I got the way. If you got some courage, you come to this meeting, they'll teach you how to read. Literacy was the first thing that was focused on before they got to voting. Y'all need to understand how deep this goes. Literacy, then voting. That's something to be proud about. That people had the courage to do that under threat of losing everything, their lives, their health, their children. They decided, I'm going to go to the meeting. And then they used their brains and learned how to read. And then they went in and voted. And some were killed. Some lost their jobs. Some lost their land. Some were put off and run out of town. But a few short years later, we had a Voting Rights Act. And a few short years later after that, I was born. And my life was completely different from 73 on, completely different than anything that existed prior to that. So if you were born anywhere from 70 on, you have benefited from those people who were courageous enough to learn how to read, to go vote, risking their lives, health, and strength. They did that. Just dreaming of the freedoms you have. Just dreaming, like the freedom to move about and not be bothered, to come up with your own talent and put it out, to work in anywhere you want, wherever your talents take you. You are living the dream and don't even know it. So consider yourself blessed, but do not allow things to be rolled backwards. How dare you? You got a dream for the next generation. You got a dream for the kids and the grandkids. You got to live the dream right now. All right. Our app can go into the voting booths with you to help guide your decision. So that's a cool thing. You can't take a person into the voting booth with you, but there's no law against taking your phone and actually glancing down at the app and seeing, Johnny B has a D in housing. In Atlanta, there's no affordable housing. He's saying he's going to do for me, but when I look at his history, here's a little bit of evidence with his D. He denied this bill. He denied that bill. Yeah, Johnny's not getting my vote. And I'm going to press the button and let Johnny know, Johnny, you did not get my vote today because of your D in this Black Progress Report card. You understand? You're the grader. You're the boss. Lastly, how the app will function once it's completed. Voters will have access for free forever. This is not a money play, all right? I'm not worried about that. That money's not my first concern. Free forever, this app. It won't cost you anything. Voters will simply enter your address to see your state's slate of officials and candidates. You can view it, you can download it, or you can print the report card. You also can have there will be a feedback loop there to help us grade well, right? Users will have a different tab for corporations with a search function for their report cards and the ability to provide a feedback loop on them as well. We will amass user data for further programming in civics and advocacy and Black progress. And the app will be built to speak to Black people and our allies across generations. This is very important because I don't want this to be a divisive thing. Like, we don't need another divisive thing between Black folks. I'm not coming out here to say, hey, I'm better than you, and I'm better than you, and I'm better than you, and this is better than you. No, I care nothing about that. I want to know, is it useful? Are you using it? Are you using it? Are you using it? Did you slap them upside the head in West Virginia? Because we sure slapped them upside the head here in Georgia. All right, so this app will speak across generations, across geographies, across country of origin, across religion, across sexual orientation, across education level and life experiences. It is all-inclusive power. The vehicle is big enough for you. It's big enough for everybody, and there's no debating about these 10 things of importance that we could call the 10 Black Progress goals. So that's it, and a little bit long, but now you know what's up. What you need to do is to follow our link tree. Go onto the Black Progress app prototype, put in your email address. It's going to send you a PIN number. Grab that PIN number out of your email, stick it into the app. You will then be granted permission to go into the app. Right now, the only thing that's loaded in there is Georgia data, and it's actually Georgia data from this recent election. That'll be changing very soon, but if you become a member now, you already will be in the know. We'll be ready to reach out to you as we upgrade the app, tell others about it. Again, it'll be forever free. Black Progress Report Card app. We might call it, check them out. We're thinking about some other names, but remember, You have to put your angst, your feeling, your belief, your vote, your voice, your vision, your values, your investment. You got to put that into a vehicle. They've got to be vehicles. They have to have wheels on it, or you don't go anywhere. It's just screaming into the wind. I want this to change. And then you die. And your kid, man, they got us. I want this to change. And then they die. No, makes no sense. Vehicles for change involve these three things, these 5 things. And we have them laced throughout the progress report card. So get with it. All right. See you later. Cal Burlock out.